Hi, welcome to this short tutorial video on SketchAcoustics. And today I will run you through how to use SketchAcoustics and how to run an acoustic analysis on a recording studio in just a few minutes. So let's start by creating a section plane to look inside of our studio. So I will be analyzing this specific part over here. We're going to analyze the reverberation time and the room modes in these two rooms, and we are going to analyze first reflections inside of this room. So I will showcase all aspects of SketchAcoustics that we have. So let's start with the room modes. So if we head into extensions, SketchAcoustics, the first tool you will see is the room modes tool. The room modes tool works by trying to guess your room geometry, so geometry of the cavity. As you can see, it does a fine job, but it is not perfect. So you will see the orange overlay as you hover inside of the room. So you can hover either on the walls or on the floor, and it will try to guesstimate where how the room looks. No worries if it's not perfect. Once you press left click on the room, you will get this overlay with a few nodes. So we can orbit, we can go back into the room modes view, and this allows us to make sure that the room selection is precise. So as you can see, this corner is not where I want it to be, so I can just drag it here. It will automatically snap to the geometry of the room. I can drag the second corner here, so let's do that. Perfect, that's much better. I can drag this corner over here. As you can see, this window, so this green part shows a window. You can make it as deep or as shallow as you need to. So I'll make it right around here. As you can see, I'm just adjusting the window. Let's add this and that, so now it looks much better. Let's adjust this corner, and these few nodes option key, my cursor will change, and click to remove them to simplify my room, my detected room. So I'll just go through and adjust the room real quick now. So now that I have adjusted the room, I can use these topmost nodes to adjust all of the top and bottom layers, but everything seems fine to me. And now that I have adjusted the shape of the room, I can simply press enter to run the room mode analysis. So I can choose my maximum frequency here and the number of modes I want to calculate. The higher the frequency, and the higher the number of modes, the longer the simulation will take, but it's usually pretty fast. So I will just select the default parameters and I will run the analysis. So as you can see, it only took less than a second, and now I can take a look where are the high pressure nodes in this odd shaped room. So as you can see, it overlays the peaks with different colors, and it shows where the troughs are with the lack of these particles. So as you can see, that's room mode analysis done. So I can orbit around, I can check it out. If I need to, I can increase the size of each particle, and that's that. Now, moving on, I want to start figuring out the reverberation time in this room. For that, we will of course need to assign the materials in this room. So if we go into extensions, SketchAcoustics, we will see that we have a tool to manage acoustic materials. When you open that tool, you will get this window over here. And as you can see right now, we don't have anything in our palette, I like to call it. So we need to add materials that will be used in this model. That I can use by clicking on the three dots over here, and I can search through 1,200 plus materials. As you can see, we have a big library available, and I will just simply select this absorber. It will be added to my palette ready to use. I will select plaster. I will select wooden floors. So let's say wooden floor on joist. I will select, and I will select, let's say, performers or people, maybe orchestra. Yeah, there you go. So orchestra with instruments. So these are going to be the materials that I'm going to use to showcase this room. So I am going to now select wooden floor on joist, and I can simply go ahead and paint them on any surface that I need to. As you can see, you cannot tell at first which surfaces got painted or not. For that, we have the material overlay window. So as you can see, I can see that these three surfaces, they were already painted. So you get a small overlay to ensure that everything is covered. So if I cover it with a different color, as you can see, it changes its color. So that way I can easily track what is painted or what is not. So here, for example, I can simply paint this drummer, and it's going to change the color of the bounding box simply because it has a lot of triangles around in the group. So this is a very primitive way to paint materials if you don't have a lot of details or a very big model. But if you have a bigger model, then you can streamline the whole material assignment workflow. So we have this tagging status tool, and it analyzes your model by either textures applied to surfaces, by groups, or by tags. So it analyzes it, and you are able to quickly apply materials to these textures, groups, or tags. So for example, we have this furniture tag or layer, and if I click on it, it highlights this person over here. So what I can do is I can apply either from palette or browse the library. So let's say I'm going to have audience on moderately padded seats, and I'm simply going to apply it to this person. So now furniture is gone and this person has been tagged. So if I head into manage acoustic materials, we will see that this person has got a color. So he is now audience on moderately padded seats. So that way you can, if everything is correctly labeled in your model, you're going to be able to quickly assign materials to whichever SketchUp model you are working with. But for now, I'm just going to do it by hand for this room over here, and I will come back to you in a second. So I have noticed that I am missing some materials, so I'm missing a window and a door. So let me quickly add door, solid wooden door, and a window, double window closed to my materials, and finish tagging everything. Now that we have all of our materials in this room applied, we are ready to run the simulation that will tell us the reverb time and the clarity in the room. So if I go into extensions, SketchAcoustics, I can finally select the RIR analysis tool, and this will bring up this little selector. So Now I can click to place an emitter. So let's place an emitter over here. After I have done that, I can place multiple emitters wherever I need them. Once I press enter, then I switch into listener placement mode. So this is a listener or a receiver. If I place it over here, it will tell me more about sound coming from this speaker into this listener. So we have everything set up. I can as well place as many listeners as I want, but I can press enter and it's going to bring up our simulation options menu. So the menu is fairly straightforward. All you really need to is select the number of rays, the simulation time, and if you have untagged faces, you will get a little warning here saying that there are a certain amount of untagged faces, and it will allow you to bring up the tagging status menu to quickly apply materials to, as I said, either textures, groups, or tags. But you also get the option to either ignore the untagged faces altogether, so it will not matter for the simulation, or assign a default absorption coefficient. I will just assign a default absorption coefficient of 0.1. The number of rays, the more rays you have, the more accurate is a simulation, but it results in a longer runtime. I find that for smaller rooms, anywhere 10,000 to 20,000 works pretty well and it gives fine results. But for bigger spaces, you might want to opt in for more rays. The simulation time simply controls how far into the decay we trace the reflections. So it will never, however, cut off the decay time. So it will always simulate the entirety of the decay, even if it exceeds 2 seconds in this example. So it's always fine to leave it at whatever the default is. So now, with everything set up, I can run the analysis. So it's going to collect all of the objects that exist in SketchUp and ship it off to the acoustic engine. And it's going to start simulating everything. So as you can see, there's orange lines and there's some blue lines. So these are just lines that are escaping through this open door or this open door, for example. So we got the results back in just a few seconds. And as you can see, the simulation thinks, well, the simulation shows that this recording room has a good speech transmission index. So we can see the reverberation time. So we can see it in either a table format or a graph format. We can also switch how many frequencies we see in our graphs or tables. So if I open Octave, then I will see from 31 Hertz to 16 kilohertz. If I select speech, it's going to be from 125 Hertz to 4,000 Hertz or 4 kilohertz. And if I choose to show or see all 1/3 octave frequency, then it's going to show me everything from 16 Hertz to 30, yeah, so to 20 kilohertz. So as you can see, it runs quite a powerful simulation behind the screens. But let's look at octave bands only, and we can see that we get the sloped reverberation time, so that's nice. We have clarity metrics, we have center time and definition metrics, and we have the energy decay curve. So this is nice and informative, and if you want to export this into a spreadsheet, you can always click copy TSV to copy tab separated values of these numbers, whichever bands you want to export them, and it will simply copy everything over and you can paste it into your spreadsheets for further analysis. We have some visualization options available inside of the room impulse response analysis as well. So for example, you can look at the heat map, which is a bit busy in here, but as you can see, you can you can see where most of the sound is going. So we are looking at the ceiling right now. As you can see, where the speaker is, that's where most of your sound is going, or the surface that is mostly hitting. So there's some leaking out over here, some going into the bathroom, but it's mostly in the room. Then we have a sound billiard visualization. So as you can see, let's stop it and run it. You can see how sound is traveling throughout your model. So as you can see, the model this room isn't entirely watertight. In the model, and we can see some sound particles escaping over the top, either into the listening room or into this corridor here. So it's a nice way just to track and trace where the energy is going. So you can also look by the energy. So as you can see, inside of the room, it's all high energy reflections, but the bluer, the darker they get, the lower energy they become. We also have the ability to hear how this room sounds. So here we have a little player with which we can hear auralization from different listening positions for different emitters. So for example, if I select average, then when I press play, it would take the average of all emitters and play a combined auralization. So if I press play, as you can see, it shows a top view of the receiver and the speaker. But if I'm interested in hearing how this speaker sounds to this receiver particularly, this is not a problem in the current model, but I can select R1, so this is going to be our receiver 1, press play, and we're going to be looking at the speaker from its position and hearing what you would hear from it. So we have a few options for auralization. It's mostly flamenco, it is 2 guitar samples, it's a vocal sample, and it's a seminar reading, but you can always upload your own file if you wish to. You can also download the room impulse response as a WAV file, or you can export a convolved mix if you want to send it to clients or add it into your presentations. Finally, if you do want to compare your own readings with what SketchAcoustics simulates, you can also import your own room impulse response, and it will overlay your room impulse response on top of the graph. So that would conclude the room impulse response tool. It's one of the more powerful tools in this suite. And let's look at the final tool that we have, which is the first reflection calculator. So if we head into SketchAcoustics, you will see this first reflections tool. This is a simple and quite straightforward tool just to allow you to visualize where the first reflections are going. So if we click over here, we're going to place it on a speaker, and we are going to say cast 50 rays. The max reflection order is going to be free, and we can filter whether we want to show all rays that have been cast or only rays that reach the listener. To mark something as a listener, we can select that object or that surface, and we can right click on it, and it's going to bring up this menu where we can select SketchAcoustics. So let me just zoom out a bit. There you go. So we can select SketchAcoustics, and it is already marked as a listener in this model, for example, but I can always unmark it, or I can always mark it again. So now let's head into SketchAcoustics, select the first reflections tool, set it on this speaker. Let's try all rays first. I can also either select to use material properties or not. So I'm not going to use it in this case. But if I do, I can also apply a default absorption coefficient or not. But I'm going to opt out of it. And I can select the speaker's dispersion angle and the ray distribution, whether it's going to be uniform or it's going to be an edge band. So I'm going to select uniform and I am going to calculate. So as you can see, it uses native SketchUp construction lines to give you a nice overview of where the sound is going. You can always open the tags tool to check out the reflections, and you can see you can toggle on or off whether you want to see first, second, or third order reflections, or whether you might want to not see the direct sound. So it makes it super easy, and natively you can natively control what you see or what you don't. If you want to quickly clean up, you can simply select all of the tags, delete the tags, and delete the entities, and it's going to clear everything up. But let's also see how how first reflection tool handles listeners. So as you can see, we're going to run maybe same 50 rays, and we're going to select that we want to only show rays that reach the listener. So we are going to calculate, and as you can see, it found 50 paths from emitter to listener. And as you can see, the visualization is much more clean. There's a lot of direct sound, but there's also some secondary and third reflections coming from the roof, the back of the control room, and and left and right absorption panels. So this allows you to quickly visualize where the sound is coming from. So these are the main tools that SketchAcoustics offers currently. There's always new updates coming out, and yeah, I hope that you find this guide helpful, and I would love to hear your feedback. Thank you.